Hi everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to the 25 Days of Cricut Cheer. I'm so excited for this series. There are so many beautiful crafts that you guys are going to see, and I love Christmas time, so I love creating things for Christmas, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy the whole series. So be sure to give this a thumbs up if you're really excited to start this. We are on day 2. It's going to be so fun, and for this one we are going to be creating a little countdown until Christmas calendar. I did something like this for Halloween for my girls, and they absolutely loved it. It's really helpful for young kids and really for adults too, to have a little visual of how many days it is until a certain holiday. And so in this case it's going to be Christmas. So I have a wooden board here, and I actually purchased a whole sheet. Well, my husband purchased a whole sheet of wood, and then he cut it down for me. He has been a trooper in helping me behind the scenes with all of these Christmas crafts. And then we have 3 coats of chalk paint on this. Now when you're picking a board, we're going to be doing some nails. So I have some little, let's see, they're called wire brads, I believe what it says. I am really not that knowledgeable when it comes to tools, but I just had my husband get me some little nails that would work for this, and this is what he found for me. So they are really tiny little nails, but the main thing I wanted to say is that with your wood, you want to make sure it is thick or not hollow, because you're going to be nailing into this if you do it like I'm going to be doing it. And so you want something with some thickness so your nail can go into it. So I have that, and this is measuring at about, I think he did 12 by just shy of 16. Okay, so we'll use that when we go into design space. Other materials is I have a really nice burgundy colored vinyl. This is from Hobby Lobby. It's the Paper Studio brand. I love this color though. It's so, so pretty. And then I have a hammer, and I have some scissors. Oh, I also need to grab my weeding tool, and don't worry, I'll put everything in the description box below the video as I sneak things into the video. But I also have, this is some decorative trim. It came in the ribbon section at Hobby Lobby, and it's just a little vine. Let me see if I can find the end here to pull some out. Okay, so it is just like a long vine, and it feels like it has a wire base on it. So we are going to use this to create our little circle base that will be our little marker as we are counting down to Christmas. So I will walk you through all of that. So first thing we are going to do is hop into design space. We are going to figure out our little design that we're going to do. I made it from scratch, and it's really, really cute. So I will show you the elements that I used to bring it together, and then we'll get it all cut out and placed on our board.
Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space. This is the little file that I put together, and I just used the text box and used a variety of texts, and then I used the shape box to create my border around it. Usually I do recreate and create things in front of you in Design Space, but this took me so long to do and to get it quite perfectly, and I'm quite a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm not going to recreate this, but I will kind of walk you through how I did it so that you guys are all prepared yourself. So what I did was I used the font for Sleeps Until. It is a font that I got from Font Bundles. I got a big bundle recently. I think it was like a farmhouse bundle. But this is called Country Market. So this font here is Country Market. This font right here is called Falling Leaves Script, and I added those individually with the text box here. And then I had to attach these together and weld them together to create a script font. And if you need a tutorial on how to connect letters together, I'll place one in the corner for you. For the numbers, what I used was a Cricut font, I believe, that was called Adobe Ming, and I just really liked the traditional look of these numbers. I thought they looked really nice. And the secret here is I did each of these in their own line with their own text box, and then I spaced them out accordingly, and then I did a lot of ungrouping just to make sure everything was able to be individually placed, and then a lot of aligning and arranging. So you guys can do all of that on your own. It's super, super easy. It's just a little time consuming, which is why I'm not going to do it twice. Okay, but I will show you a little quick secret for making this border. So what I did was I just grabbed a square, and then I unlocked it, made it a rectangle, and then what I did is I grabbed another, same thing, And then what you can do for the second one is make it just a different color so that you can tell where it is. And what I did was I just created a little border. If you can see, I'm just kind of lining this up to create a little border. Okay, and then I selected both, come up to a line, and I said center. And then with both of them selected again, I just said slice. And then I sliced out to create my little border here. So that was really, really easy to do. And then I just brought it over here. So all that's really, really easy. You have all of the fonts, you have all of the little tips and tricks, and you guys can recreate that really easily. So now all I'm going to do is I am just going to grab a shape, grab a square. I'm going to unlock it, and then I am going to make this 12 by 16, and I think it was a little shy of 16, so I'm going to go 15 3/4. Okay, and then you know what I'll do is I will just make this a light gray just so that I can really see it. So I'm going to bring this a little bit smaller. I'm going to send this to the back, and then I'm going to bring my little design over here just so that I can get it, whoops, I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to get it all sized where I want it, and I think that looks just about right. Okay, so I love how that looks great. I'm going to go ahead and lock it. I'm going to go ahead and take the little template rectangle that I created and delete that, because now I just need this to cut out. And one thing is, once you have all of your elements done, you want to make sure that you attach them together. I went ahead and welded them so that they were one, but you want to make sure that they are all attached or welded so that they cut exactly in the spot that you see it on the screen. Now I have my Explorer already selected. You can use any cutting machine for this. If you are going to use the Joy, I would skip the border, and then I would probably cut them in smaller chunks. So I would probably cut the Sleeps Until Christmas here and in one, and then I would probably cut these all separately. And then it would take a little bit of time, but it is achievable with the Joy. Because I do have a bigger machine that makes this a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to use my Explorer Air 2. I'm going to say make it, and then I'm going to use my 12 by 24 mat, which is alerting me right here. I'll say okay, and then I will say continue. I will browse all materials and go all the way down to vinyl, and I am going to say premium vinyl for my vinyl choice. I'll say done and load my material and get this all cut out.
Okay, so I have it all cut out and trimmed off. So now what I'm going to do is I brought in my squeegee little scraper tool. I have my weeding tool, and then I also brought in a roll of this clear grid line transfer tape that is going to be helpful. I'd recommend probably something a little bit more clear so that you can really see where you are placing it on your board. So I'm just going to start weeding out my design. Now I know that this design can take a while to create from scratch, but I also wanted to let you know that they have a lot of pre-made files either on design bundles or on websites, so you can go ahead and search for stuff like this, and you can just buy it for whatever price it is. I think they're around like $3 to $5 usually when it comes to just purchasing SVGs. But if you don't want to take the time to create something like this by hand, but you love this idea, then just definitely consider purchasing a pre-made file, because that's so easy to do and makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I am just slowly starting to weed my design and being really careful, helping what needs to stay down, stay down. A couple of my little numbers want to come up here. What I'm going to do is, before I go any further, I'm going to turn this over really quick and just really burnish the back and just make sure everything is laid down in its spot. Sometimes this helps when weeding, just to make sure everything lays down really nice. Okay, so one thing I'm finding helpful is to kind of do it line by line, or maybe even 2 lines by 2 lines if I am feeling like I can handle that much vinyl at once. But then I just trim off my extra vinyl to make sure I don't risk it falling back on my design, and that's helping make it to be a little bit more of a manageable and approachable weeding project here. Okay, so I'm just going through and weeding out all the little middle pieces, And this took me a little while to weed, so make sure you turn on your favorite show or have some music handy, whatever you like to do while you are crafting, just to help pass the time. It took me probably 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm just gonna make sure I get all of my little pieces weeded out and try not to pull up anything else in the process. Okay, so now I'm going to take my transfer tape, and this is the same transfer tape you guys see me use in the sheets, but I have a roll of it as well that I thought might be a little bit easier because my sheets are only 12 by 12, I believe. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of this. In fact, I'm going to roll some of that back up, and I'm going to make sure, try not to get my head too much in the camera, but I'm going to try to line that up as best as I can. Okay, and it might even be helpful to do it this way. I'm just going to unroll this, and as I'm unrolling, I'll just lay that down nice and flat on my vinyl. Okay, so that looks good. Now I can go ahead and just trim off my extra pieces here. Okay, so what I'll do is take my squeegee scraper tool, and I'll just really make sure that my vinyl and transfer tape meet. Okay, and then I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to repeat that on the back just to make sure everything lays down and meets together really nicely for a really easy transfer. Okay, so then with it the side down, I am going to peel at an angle, and that will leave my vinyl on the transfer tape, and I'll just peel away my cutting carrier sheet. And I have everything on there. Easy peasy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just very carefully line this up, and I just kind of hover it over my project and kind of drag it where I want it. And that looks just about right. I think you can bring that up just a little bit. Oops, too far. But if you kind of just hover it, you can kind of move it around a little bit. And that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so since that looks good to me, what I'm going to do is start in the middle with my hand, and then take my scraper tool, and then I'll go out towards the edges. And just have it all lay down really, really nicely there. Okay, so I just went over that quite a few times with my scraper tool to make sure everything was really down. And then at the corner, I'm just going to, I don't think I got that corner quite enough. I'm just going to slowly peel away my transfer tape. And I like to go at an angle and just monitor everything as I go to make sure everything is laying down as it should. Okay, and that transferred really well over. Looks really, really nice. My husband actually picked out this red color. He thought it would look really, really pretty for this sign. I was initially thinking like a gray color, but he told me to be brave and be a little bit more festive. I always go for the safe choices, but this is so pretty. I think it was definitely the right choice. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring my little vine in here, and I just kind of want to get this sized really quickly for my project, and I might even wrap it maybe a time or two around, and it's wire based, so it will stay where you put it once you kind of shape it. So I'm just going to wrap that maybe a time or two around itself just to kind of give it a little bit more of a thicker look. And I'm just kind of placing it around my number just so that I can kind of see what size I like. In fact, I kind of wrapped that almost almost 3 times around, and that looks really, really nice. Okay, so I didn't even do anything to that, just kind of kept wrapping, and that's a nice little wreath. Okay, so this will just move around day to day, but now we need to apply the little nails. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put my little ruler here just so that I can get a really nice line. And then I'm going to bring my little tiny nails in here with my hammer. And one thing my husband told me not to do was he told me not to hammer all of these in or any of these in around my computer because I have my desktop right here. So he just thought it'd be too much vibration for my computer. So I'm just going to do one lightly for you as a example, but I'm not going to do all of them in front of you. I'm going to take it elsewhere to another spot to get everything put on there. So I'm just going to line up where I want that. I'm going to tap it in. Okay, and then what I'll do is I will just use my ruler then as my little grid line so that everything will line up perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and nail all of those, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished putting all the little nails in. I'm sure they're not absolutely perfect, but they are perfect to me. So what I'm going to do now is I can just place my little wreath. So the concept is sleeps until Christmas, so it'll actually be a countdown. So we'll start at 25 sleeps, then 24, and then we'll just keep moving it. I think this is going to be really, really fun. You can design yours whichever way that you would like to. So if you want to do it a different way, or if you want to just do a countdown to Christmas, you can use any text. You can make it in any order. So make sure you personalize this to how you want it to work, but this was kind of a fun way for us to use ours. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a fun one to create. It really brings some excitement to the holiday times, especially for little ones, but if I'm going to be honest, it brings it for adults too, because I don't care how old you are, Christmas is just always so exciting. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. I think it turned out really cute, and as always, please be sure you share the video because I want everyone to be coming over here to join us for our 25 days of Cricut Cheer. It's going to be really, really fun. I am really excited to inspire you with some really pretty Christmas crafts, and I cannot wait to show you what's coming up in the days and weeks ahead. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.